everyone, today I will be teaching you how to make your own tomato paste in your kitchen. Now I'm so excited about this recipe because I know how much time having my own yummy, creamy, clean, no chemical tomato paste in my kitchen has saved me. It has saved me so much time, like cut down your cooking time by over 50%. I'll go straight into it. So first, we're going to measure out the tomatoes. It's important that you follow this recipe to the letter if you want to preserve your tomatoes for a long time. So this recipe calls for 3 kg tomatoes. I'm going to measure out 3 kg of tomato. So ensure that the tomato that you're using, ensure that they are fresh, strong. These type of tomatoes, I think it's called Roma or tomato juice. This type, they are creamy. Gives a thicker tomato paste yield. Wash your tomatoes, wash them thoroughly. Wash them with salt if possible. Generously, add some generous amount of salt to ensure that they are thoroughly washed and all the yama from mile 12 has been washed off. Okay, you can actually use less onions, less garlic than the recipe called for, but you have to maintain the exact weight of the tomatoes because you do not want to tamper with the acidity level of the recipe. You can't use more onions or more garlic. You can use less. So next, slice the tomatoes diagonally like this. I think this is vertically. Lengthwise, dice them like this. Not dice, slice. I think it's more of slicing. So slice lengthwise. So now there are lots of recipes online for making your tomato paste, but I mean when it comes to food you have to be extra careful because of poisoning. I mean, this is not going to be stored in the freezer or in the fridge. It's going to be stored in your pantry or in your cupboard. So you have to ensure that you follow the recipe to the letter so that you would achieve the required results. From the pH, that's the acidity level of the paste, to the consistency. It's important that everything is followed to the letter. So this particular recipe that I'm using, that I gave you guys, is from the National Center for Home Food Preservation. I think it's a United States organization, and it's supported by the USDA. That's a body that is in charge of food safety in the United States. So this is not just any recipe that I pulled up from the internet. No, I did my research. I did a thorough research to ensure that I'm giving you guys the best. So I'm done. Now some people like to take away the seeds and the core because they don't want the seeds to show. I don't really mind the seeds, so I'm going to leave them on, but if they bother you, you can take them off. And even if you're not able to take them off now, I'm going to show you how to take them off after you've roasted. So you do not really have to bother about it now 100%. Okay, this is all the garlic that I'll be using. So now is the time to add all the seasoning that you want, your salt, your spices, but just make sure that they are all dry. No fresh herbs or spices here, they have to be dry. So I've added my thyme, I've added some salt, and that will be it. So if you have oregano, if you have parsley and you want to add all of them, just go ahead and do so at this point. I'm going to try to mix everything together. So next I'm going to arrange my tomatoes in my oven pan. Place them upside down, that's the cut side down. See guys, there is so much you can do with your tomato paste. You can replace your red oil with this delicious tomato paste. So for things like yam pottage, plantain pottage, where you would normally use red oil, even beans, you can just take a spoonful. You can just take a spoonful of the tomato paste and add, and your food will come out so delicious. You can also use it for beans, and of course you can make stew with it. You can imagine how much time you have saved yourself by having this handy. You don't have to start boiling, cutting your tomatoes and wasting all that time. Cooking jollof rice becomes way easier. Just go into the kitchen and in a few minutes you're out with your red delicious bowl of jollof. If you like to experiment and you've not done homemade pizza before, the sauce will also make a great pizza sauce. Yeah, you can also make a great marinade for your chicken and fish. So you see all the things you can do with this. Okay, so again, you don't have to make all the batch that you would need in a year or 6 months at once. You can do it, you know, once, maybe 3 kg per time. So every time you make 3 kg store, every time you make 3 kg store, so that way it doesn't become overwhelming for you. So now that it's tomato season, if you decide to do your 3 kg every week for the next 2 months, you have a lot of tomato paste to use during the off tomato season next year. So I'm encouraging you to do this. So this is it. This is my tomato, washed, sliced, spiced, and arranged in my oven tray. I'm just going to put it in the oven. So this is the part of your oven, the part of your oven burner that you will be using. It's called the broiler, the upper part of your oven. That's what you'll be using for the roasting of your tomatoes. Just place it so. That's it. I'm going to let it roast in the oven for about 30 to 45 minutes, or just until the tomatoes have browned a bit and the peel has puffed up a little bit. Then I would go on to the next step. So for those of you who would be doing the boiling method, I think everything that the steps that I have listed in the manual that I sent is very easy to follow. So just go ahead and follow the steps until your tomato is in the pot and on the fire. This is it. Some people might decide to allow it to continue roasting till all the water has gone down a lot more, but if you want, you can also start processing from here. Sometimes I actually let it go down, other times like now I leave them. So now is that I'm going to pick out the burnt parts, just a few of them. On the second thought, I think I would leave them on so that when I make my jollof with this batch, it would give me that smoky patty jollof aroma. So I'm going to leave it. But if it bothers you, you can take it out. Take out the charred parts. So next, I'm going to show you how to process this. So two ways. You can either use your sieve, pass them through your sieve, or blend. So this is also how to take away the seeds from your tomatoes. Remember I told you that in the course of the processing that I'm going to show you how to take away the seeds from your tomatoes. So this is how to do it. Just pass them through. See? The back is left here and the seeds are left here. So by the time I'm done with this, if I don't stain my cloth, I would have to give thanks. I almost cannot escape it. Guys, don't do this, just blend. It's not worth it. I give up. I'm going to just blend them and pour them in here. But if you have the patience, you can go on and press through the sieve. I'm done. I'm going to blend everything. No, whether you blend or pass through the sieve, it's not going to affect you. You see what I got? See? By the time I cook it down, it will be thicker. This is what the paste looks like. My tomatoes blended and they are in here. I'm going to bring it to a boil. Remember that I advised that you start boiling your water from the beginning because you need a lot of boiled water. Waiting for the tomato to boil, we're going to start sterilizing the jars. These are the jars I'll be using. They usually come with covers like this, so it's important that you wash them thoroughly with soap and water. Even though you washed it after the last use, it's important that you repeat this step before bottling your tomatoes. So I'm going to wash it again with soap and water. And warm water, rinse with warm water to make sure that there are no bacteria that would make your food spoil. This whole process of pasteurizing is just so to ensure that no bacteria is left in your bottles or in your food, so that it will last long, because really it's those bacteria that make the food spoil. Without the bacteria, your food will be sterile, so they won't spoil. Mix some warm water that I'll use in rinsing the bottles. So to sterilize the bottles, I am going to lay this towel here. And place my washed, rinsed with warm water jars on here. So I just took them out from the bowl of warm water. Going to scoop hot boiling water into them. Then I'll place the jar on top. So the reason why it's important that you rinse with warm water is so that the bottle is warm before you put in your hot boiling water. If it's not warm, your bottle is likely to break. So just halfway, and I just place the cover on top. That's it. My bottles are getting sterilized. Both the bottle and the jars are getting sterilized. Check on our tomato paste. It's boiling nicely. Ouch. It's boiling nicely, and I'm just going to give it a little stir. Depending on the consistency you like, this could be it or not. Another thing I do is that I just allow the tomatoes to dry a little bit and the water to reduce properly in the oven. When I do that, I don't have to cook for this long. I just bring it to a boil and turn it off. But I think I would like it to reduce a little bit more before I can. Let me show you the consistency. I mean, some of you could be okay with it, but I don't think I am. I'll just let it reduce a little bit more. Then that will be it. Okay, so now my tomato has reduced to my desired consistency, not so desired. So now is the time I pour out the water, the hot water that was in the jar. Measure 1 tablespoon of lemon. Just use the lemon juice, the bottled one, because it has a standard measurements. So now I scoop my tomatoes into the jar. When you're done, look out for any air bubbles and displace them with a spoon or a ladle. Right now I can't see anyone, so this is it. Remember to leave half an inch space of free bottle. It has boiled for about 40 minutes now, and I've allowed it to cool down in the pot for like 5 minutes. As I was taking it out from the pot, I could hear the tick tick sounds, meaning that the jars are locking by themselves. However, if you look closely, you see that this one hasn't clicked properly because the jars are moving. See, it's not concave, but this one, it's not moving at all, and the cover is concave unlike the other one. See, this one too is well done. Well done. So that other one is a suspicious jar. I'm going to do the test again for you to see. This one is moving up and down, up and down. This one is concave, gidibam. It's not moving anywhere. This one too is concave. It's not moving. It's not shaking. And if you look closely, you see these ones are indented a little bit, but the other one is not indented, that it's not concave. So I'm going to keep it aside and use it first. But I'm going to leave these on the table till tomorrow. Hello everybody, so here you have it. These were out from the water about 9:30 p.m. yesterday, and it's 11:30 p.m. 11:30 a.m. today. So this is in my tomato paste. They've all clicked properly. Well, except for this same one, which is still moving. So it's the suspicious batch that I'm going to use as quickly as possible. I'll put it in the fridge and use it as quick as possible. But these other ones are now properly locked and concave, as you can see. They are probably locked and concave, as you can see. So they're going to go in my shelf and for storage. So that is it. If you have any questions, please send me a message or email me or send me a Telegram message, and I will respond with help.